Ladies and gentlemen, fellow managers, I bid you welcome to Whitbury Newtown Leisure Centre. It is my proud duty this morning to introduce our opening speaker, the Member of Parliament for Truro, the Honourable Sebastian Coe. But before Sebby, I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you a few thoughts on what I think this conference is really all about. Its official title may well be Expansion in the Leisure Market. But do we here not have the opportunity to paint on a rather broader canvas? I think we do. A chance to discuss the whole meaning of...
Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Brittas.
Yes, Laura?
Just to remind you before I go that someone needs to turn up the heating in the pool.
Go? Go where?
My interview. Remember? For the job in Teddington?
Of course, I was going to give you some advice, wasn't I?
It's all right, Mr. Brittas, I know you're busy.
Come in, Laura, come in. A good manager is never too busy to help a young colleague struggling up the ladder of promotion.
Yes, thank you.
Now, sit yourself down. Come on. How are you feeling? Very nervous, I'd imagine.
Well, you know.
Let me tell you one thing that always helps.
Yes.
Wear something smart for the interview. Something that suits you. And possibly a dash of lipstick. Make yourself more attractive.
I'll bear it in mind, Mr. Brittas.
It boosts confidence, you see. No point looking dowdy.
No, right.
Now, I think the most important thing to remember is that you're not applying for the post of leisure centre manager.
That's what it said on the form.
That's not the half of it, Laura. You are seeking responsibility for the moral and physical welfare of every person in the community. You'll have to be a lot more than manager. You'll have to be social worker. You'll have to be critic. You'll have to be friend. You'll have to be father.
Yes, sir. I do have to be there by 10 o'clock.
Right. Anything else worrying you?
No, as I said, if you could just remind someone to turn up the heating in the pool in time for the baptism. The coffee machine's getting low on cups.
I'll get Colin onto it, Laura. Don't you give it a thought. You've got plenty to panic about already.
Thank you.
Off you go, and don't forget there'll be a lot of competition, so don't be too disappointed if you don't get it.
Is it true?
Mrs. Brittas, you startled me.
Yeah, I came as soon as I heard. I couldn't believe it.
Sorry?
That she's leaving, going to manage another centre.
Oh, you mean Laura?
I thought if I could just talk to her, I might manage to persuade her. She hasn't gone yet, has she?
Oh, I don't know. Tim, has Laura gone yet?
Oh, yeah, she left first thing. She's got an interview, you know.
Oh, no. Why didn't anyone tell me she was applying for jobs?
Oh, I don't think she was. They just rang her up and asked her.
You mean it was their idea?
Oh, yes. Sounds hopeful, doesn't it?
Where's Gordon?
Miss Brittas, he's up in his office. He is not to be disturbed. He is writing a speech for Monday. But I'm sure if it's you, he wouldn't mind.
And I was sharply reminded of the weighty responsibility we all hold the other day when a young woman of my staff came to me for some advice. She was up for promotion, off on her first big interview, and you could see the pleading in her eyes. Help me, Mr. Brittas. Tell me what this managing a leisure centre is all about. And I told her exactly what I'm about to tell you now.
Never said she was leaving.
Morning, my darling.
You can't do it. You can't just let her walk out like that.
Who?
Who do you think? Laura. You've got to stop her.
Julie, could you come into my office, please? I'm afraid that's the way of the world, my darling.
What is?
You train them, you nurture them, you watch them grow, but the end result is always the same. The fledgling learns to fly and leaves the nest.
What's she going to do? I mean, if Laura goes, there's just no one to take...
I thought you said you didn't want to be disturbed.
Could you get me £1 from petty cash, please, Julie? If Laura goes, my darling, we'll do what we've always done. We shall pilot our little vessel as safely as possible through the rocks and shoals. Granted, she was a useful deputy.
Useful? She's all this place has got, Gordon. Can't you doctor her references or something?
Helen.
Or ring them up. Tell them she steals things. Look, I'll say she took money from me.
Helen.
This is what a waste. As soon as I make friends with anyone, they just go away. Nobody ever stays.
I'm staying, my darling.
What do you want me to do now?
Oh, Julie, I think my wife would appreciate it if you took her down to the cafeteria and bought her a cup of coffee and a donut.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, my darling. Julie will look after you. Come on. Out you go. Right.
I'm sorry, Julie. It's just that I only heard this morning about Laura leaving.
Oh, well, we don't know she is. It's only an interview.
Oh, she'll get it, you know she will.
Yeah. We'll miss her.
I'm not talking about a friendly face, Julie. I'm talking about survival. I mean, doesn't it scare you at all, just knowing she's not here?
I think we'll be all right. There's only the baptism. Mr. Brittas is staying in his office, and the rest of the public are outnumbered by the staff 3 to 1. Can't see anything major going wrong.
They never are major at the beginning, are they?
What?
The disasters. They always start with something trivial, some tiny little thing apparently going wrong.
Cup of coffee?
Carol, are you sure that's wise?
Oh, yes, these are all fast non-coloureds.
No, actually, I meant if Mr. Brittas sees you.
Oh, yes, it's all right.
I thought he told you to stop using reception to look out after your children and use it more as, well, as reception, really.
Oh, it's just for today, Gavin. Anyway, Mr. Brittas is up in his office. He won't be down all day.
Well, just be careful.
Yes, I will.
Excuse me.
Oh, welcome to Newtown Leisure Centre. How may I help you?
Well, I've just put 20p in the coffee machine down the corridor there and nothing happened.
Yes?
Well, I would have used the one in the rifle range, but apparently that's been disconnected until whoever put in a piece of aluminium foil owns up to the manager.
Yes.
Well, I'd like my money back for a start.
Ah, you have witnesses. What? Did anyone see you put it in? I'm afraid I cannot give you a refund without corroborating evidence.
You are joking.
Afraid not. Send a policy.
Carol, you seen Colin?
No, he's not in yet, and I've got this note here from Mr. Brittas.
Could you tell him I need some help? They're all ready to start, and the harmonium's stuck in the footbath.
Yes, of course.
Perhaps I could have some change then.
Sorry?
For the machine, I'm trying to get a cup of coffee, remember?
I am not allowed to open the till without ringing up a sale first.
I have to buy something.
Well...
Well, I'll take that squash racket.
Oh, right. This one comes in 2 styles.
Just give me 20p in the change.
I'll put this by for you.
Excuse me. My name is...
Colin!
That's the one! This'll be for me, then.
Colin? All right, Colin.
I mean, where else but in a leisure centre can we draw together the troubled strands of our society? Where else will you find young and old, of every class and race, playing with each other on the gymnasium floor? And where can ordinary people find meaning and purpose to their lives? A sense of commitment and caring? What is it, Colin?
I'm sorry, Mr. Brittas. You wanted to see me.
That was 4 hours ago.
I'm afraid I've only just got in, Mr. Brittas. I had a slight accident on my rowing machine.
Come in, Colin.
I later found the trouble was I'd lost a rollock. Just fell off the machine, which incidentally provides the power for the downstairs lighting. So I was in the dark when I walked into the kitchen, where the side of the cupboard caught me a glancing blow on the head. And since then
Colin?
Yes, Mr. Brittas?
2 things I want you to do for me this morning, or what's left of it. One is I want you to increase the heating in the pool for the Pentecostal baptism.
Right, Mr. Brittas.
And secondly, I want you to check there's enough cups in the coffee machine.
Will call, Mr. Brittas. Number 1 was...
More heat in the pool.
Heat. Got it. And number 2?
Cups in the coffee machine.
Cups. That's it. So, that's the cups and...
I'll tell you what, Colin, you just do the pool, all right? And I'll get someone else to do the cups.
You can try Laura, Mr. Brittas. She's very good.
Laura is not here, Colin.
Oh, dear me. She's not ill, is she?
Laura is...
Only you wouldn't want both of us down. I don't know whether I mentioned it to you, but I got a nasty bang on the head this morning.
She's gone for a job interview. You haven't thought of going for a job interview, have you, Colin?
No, I think I found my niche here with you, Mr. Brittas. So, that's it then, is it? Just the pool?
Yes. Of course, if you had the time, you could take a length of rope up to the roof, attach one end to the lightning conductor, the other to your trouser zip, and jump off.
Sorry, Mr. Brittas?
But only if you have the time.
Hey, Mike, I got a free one. How was Miss Brittas, Colin?
Mr. Brittas! Ah, he wants to see me, doesn't he?
I thought you just had.
What? Oh, yes. Quite like Carol. I have to increase the heat in the pool.
It's burnt me now. Sorry. Your damn machine has poured boiling coffee all over my trousers.
Oh, dear, I'm so sorry. I'll call a first aid officer.
I do not need first aid.
I thought perhaps a bandage?
Nor do I want anything bandaged. I just want my money back so that I can get a white coffee with 2 sugars, preferably in a cup this time.
Of course.
What's this?
These are just the official claim forms. And if you could fill them out in block capitals, we don't have to do it all again now, do we?
Is it, I wonder, an exaggeration to say that we, the leisure centre managers, hold the future of civilization in our hands? I think not. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world...
Mr. Brittas?
All right, Gavin, what is it?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Brittas. I just wondered if anyone was sorting out the heat in the pool.
All under control, Gavin. Collins doing that. Which reminds me, could you check we got enough cups in the coffee machine, please?
Certainly, Mr. Brittas. He's all right now, is he?
Who?
Colin. It's only when I saw him downstairs earlier, well, he looked as if he didn't know what day it was.
So what's new, Gavin? I've only asked him to do one thing and I've written it on his hand. Surely not even Colin can get that one wrong.
No, Mr. Brittas.
Colin, can you give me a hand with this? Colin, you all right? Colin?
I'll tell him you're looking for him. Hallelujah.
I'm sure he won't be long. Ah, Mr. Brittas, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but we just need your authorization on Mr. Jackson's claim forms.
And then apparently I can get a cup of coffee.
You possibly think all this paperwork's a little unnecessary, Mr. Jackson.
It crossed my mind.
My concern is for the safety of public money in my charge, you see. Now, I'm sure you're probably a first-class, upright, honest citizen. But we have had our fingers burnt once or twice in times past, haven't we, Carol?
Oh, yes, Mr. Brittas.
People claiming money they weren't technically entitled to. Now, I know it's only 20 pence, but if I may remind you, 5 of those make £1, 10 of those make £2, 50
Yes, thank you, I am a maths teacher.
Point taken, then. Right, now, let's have a look. Postcode, father's occupation, police record, and you've signed it. Well, everything seems to be in order.
Does that mean I can actually get a cup of coffee?
Yes, indeed. As soon as we made sure all these details square up with what we have on the security cameras.
The what?
We have cameras monitoring the more sensitive areas of the centre, Mr. Jackson. All I've got to do is wind the tape back to 12:57 and hopefully we'll be able to confirm your story. In the meantime, if you'd like to take a magazine.
We haven't caught our first streaker, have we, Mr. Brittas?
Just keep rewinding, Tim. The incident we're after occurred at 12:57, so there should be some... What's happened?
Sorry, I wondered who that was.
Looks like Colin.
Oh, yeah, so it is. Why is he carrying all that rope?
Rope? Oh, no. He wouldn't. Colin, I told him earlier to... Well, I told him to get some rope and jump off the roof.
And that was a joke, was it?
Well, of course it was a joke. I mean, not even Colin could take that seriously. Could he?
No.
Of course not.
Not unless a bang on the head had scrambled his brains or something.
Jumping makes it.
Have you decided yet
Pardon?
whether I'm a criminal or not?
I'm afraid something's come up, Mr...
When do I get my coffee?
Carol, could you give this man his money, please?
Yes, Miss Brittas.
Ah, Linda. Have you seen Colin?
I saw him heading for the pool storerooms, Mr. Brittas. He was singing.
Singing? Singing what?
I'm not sure. Something about crossing the River of Jordan.
Oh, my goodness. 3 days before the conference. You better come too.
Here's your money, Mr. Jackson. Have a nice day.
And as our brothers and sisters step down into the waters, let us pray. Let us pray that their baptism this morning may see tongues of fire come down from heaven as they did of old. And may that fire enter their bodies and inflame them, so that they may be born again into a new life.
Don't do it, Colin. Don't do it. Stop right there.
Mr. Brittas.
Oh, I'm sorry if I spoke to you a little harshly this morning, but... What are you doing up there, Colin?
Just tidying up this cable, Mr. Brittas. I know how you like everything neat and ship-shape.
Is that cable live?
Certainly is, Mr. Brittas.
Have you any idea how dangerous that is, Colin?
Dangerous?
Coiled cable with a live current passing through it creates a powerful magnetic field. Didn't you know that?
Oh.
Imagine if some elderly person came in here looking for a lost grandchild, leaned against the wall to get his breath back, came into contact with a magnetic field which turned his pacemaker off.
Never thought of that, Mr. Brittas.
You'd have a death on your hands, wouldn't you, Colin? Take it down at once.
Right, Mr. Brittas.
Where does this thing go, anyway?
To the lights.
I think it might have something to do with the fact that my husband's just electrocuted everyone in the pool.
Oh, my God!
Yeah, it reminds me of the way my uncle used to catch salmon.
What?
Seeing the bodies floating around on the surface like that.
Well, are they dead?
The fish weren't, not usually, just stunned. Then my uncle used to pull them out with a net and knock them on the head. Maybe that's what Gordon's going to do, you never know.
How did it happen?
I think he dropped an electric fire into the pool.
Why?
I don't know, Julie. I don't ask about these things anymore.
No, that is not enough. We'll need at least 4 ambulances. Well, I suppose it will have to be, won't it?
They're turning the power back on now, Mr. Brittas.
Thank you, Gabby. Oh. And where do you think you're going?
I'm sorry, Mr. Brittas.
Sorry, I should say so. What have I always said about mixing electricity and water?
Not to do it, Mr. Brittas.
Precisely. What do? Go and hang a 2-bar electric fire over a swimming pool.
It's not his fault, Mr. Brittas.
Not his fault? Well, whose fault is it then?
He's got concussion.
He's been ill all morning. He should never have been allowed out.
I don't care if he's got terminal dysentery. He can endanger the lives of 15 people.
I've let you down very badly, Mr. Brittas.
You certainly have.
Is there anything I can do?
For a start, you can go to my office and copy out the safety manual.
Right, Mr. Brittas.
Are you serious?
10 times.
You can't do that.
He's got to learn, Tim. He cannot go around wiping out innocent churchgoers.
But that's like being back at school, Mr. Brittas. You're giving him lines.
Precisely. Carol?
Yes, Miss Brittas, how may I help you?
Can I have the safety manual and a large pad of lined paper, please? Carol?
I know it's in here somewhere. Ah, here it is.
That's Dr. Spock, Carol.
What? I'll have another look.
All right, open the doors.
I don't need to open the doors, Mr. Brittas. I know where everything is.
Carol! They're back, aren't they?
Just for the day, Mr. Brittas.
The number of days is immaterial, Carol. I've warned you before. Get your bags, you're leaving. I cannot employ a receptionist who keeps the drawers of a desk full of children. I mean, just look at all that stuff.
These are just a few things for my babies, Mr. Brittas.
They're not just a few things for your babies, Carol. What you have here is a small but well-stocked branch of mother care. Now pack your bags.
But I was only...
Go on, do it.
Mr. Brittas.
What is it?
I've been asked to say on behalf of all the staff that we think what you're doing to Colin is really unfair.
Not now, Gavin.
But we feel very strongly...
I'm sure you do, Gavin, but I'm dealing with Carol at the moment. Come on, don't just stand there. Give her a hand.
With what?
With the packing. Carol is leaving us, everyone.
You're not serious.
Perfectly serious, Tim. She knew the score. She's flagrantly disobeyed my instructions.
He's throwing her out.
You can't do that.
Come on, we haven't got all day.
Excuse me.
Not now, I'm busy.
Mr. Brittas?
If you want to help Tim, you can pack away some of those soft toys.
And I just go away, do I?
What?
A cup of coffee doesn't matter, I suppose.
Can we shut up about your coffee for 3 minutes, please?
Mr. Brittas?
What?
If Carol goes, then I'm afraid I shall have to consider my position here as well.
You're handing in your notice?
Yes, I am.
Accepted. Goodbye. Anyone else want to leave?
Nobody is leaving. Nobody is going anywhere. Not until I get 1 cup of coffee with 2 sugars!
Is everything all right, Mr. Brittas? The last of the ambulances has gone. Oh, and I'll give Mr. Jackson his 20p.
Good.
I think we've been quite lucky, really. With the Pentecostalists. One of them said they saw fire dancing on the water. And they've got the idea the whole thing was a visitation by the Holy Ghost.
Does that mean they're not going to sue?
No, they booked in again next week.
Good.
Carol's, packing her things.
Yes, I know.
I don't suppose there's any chance...
I don't want her to leave, Laura.
In that case...
I warned her what would happen if she brought those children in, and I cannot go back on my word.
No.
I would if I could, but I can't.
No, I understand.
Happened to him once, you know.
Sorry?
Gordon, in Khartoum. It was in the final stages of the siege, and he'd put out an order rationing the water supply. And this little lad, one of his favourite servants, Abdul, stole a saucer full of water for his dying puppy. Old Gordon had a soft spot for Abdul, but he couldn't go back on his word. And although the lad was only 9 years old, he was court-martialed and shot. It's what I have to do, Laura.
You're going to shoot the children?
I'm building an analogy. What I'm saying is sometimes leadership involves hard decisions.
I understand.
Managing a place like this is the finest job in the world, Laura, but let no one tell you it's easy.
No, I won't, Mr. Brittas.
I mean, on Monday, I've got managers from all over the land coming to my centre. I've got to make the welcoming address to the Honourable Sebastian Coe. It was going to be the proudest moment of my life. And now? Well, now I've got to explain why the place is closed, the staff are on strike, and there's no receptionist.
Mr. Brittas, could I make a little suggestion?
Thank you.
Carol, I heard you've been fired.
Yes, I have.
But you're still here.
No, I'm no longer the receptionist, actually.
No?
I'm manageress of the staff creche. I look after all the children of the working women of the centre.
What children?
Well, it's just the 3 at the moment.
You mean yours?
That's right.
And where is this creche?
Well, Mr. Brittas is going to provide us with proper facilities in a room of our own as soon as he has the resources. But until then, we're sort of based here.
You mean they're all back in the drawers?
Yes. And the advantage is I can stand in for the new receptionist until she's appointed.
Whose idea was all this?
It's Laura's, I think.
Laura's back. She's here.
Well, she's not actually here. She popped in before she went home.
Did she get the job?
Do you know, I forgot to ask. I was so distracted with Mr. Brittas. Bye-bye.
Not disturbing you, am I?
No, I could do with a break.
I just wanted to know how it went.
What?
This morning, the job.
Oh, that. Fine. I like the man. He liked me.
Did he?
Mr. Brittas wrote a very nice reference. He said I was a good choice for a woman.
You got it, didn't you?
I did, actually.
Oh, no.
More money, start in October.
Look, Laura, I've no right to plead. I mean, I shouldn't ask anyone to stay, but things are bad enough as they are.
I didn't take it.
I mean, you saw what happened today when you were gone for 4 hours, and if you weren't there to pick up the pizza...
I'm not leaving. I didn't take the job. Come on, let's have a drink.
Hello? Anyone at home?
Sorry, Carol must have told him.
So, I still have my deputy manager.
I'm afraid so.
Laura, there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed about.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, I'll ring the manager first thing in the morning and ask him exactly what it was he didn't like about you.
They did like her, Gordon. They offered her the job.
As a matter of fact, they did.
But she's turned it down. She's going to stay.
I'll go and get some more ice.
Turned it down? The chance to manage your own leisure centre?
Yes, isn't it wonderful?
How could anyone turn down the chance to manage their own leisure centre?
Well, it was in London.
Precisely. A prime leisure centre in our capital city. How could you do it?
I think that's your answer, Gordon. There.
Where?
Never knew. I mean, from the outside, it looks such an ordinary little house, and then you come round the back and there's all...
The garden? She didn't move because of a garden? You're saying she thought dahlias and pansies were more important than a leisure centre?
Yes, I think so.
My goodness me, there's some funny people in this world.